You couldn't get franchisees in the first 5 years. Nobody was interested in taking up a Sorbet franchise. They thought this is possibly the world's worst franchise idea in history.
Yeah, at first it was an ice cream brand, and then after that, I think people just couldn't get, and there wasn't sufficient credibility in the brand. That was the thing.
But that's important. I mean, explain to me what you mean by brand credibility when it comes to the franchise concept.
Yeah, well, there are two things that will convince a franchisee. The one is that it's a credible brand. That means it's out there, it's established itself, it's been working successfully for a while already. And then, of course, the actual business model itself needs to be appealing. So those are the two things. And it took us 5 years to get to that point. We had to open 22 company-owned stores before we could sell our first franchise.
That must have been quite an expensive exercise.
Very. It was all disappearing into a deep, dark pit. And I was questioning my sanity most of the time.
Did you lose hope?
Often, yes. I actually thought this is the most stupid thing I've ever done in my life. What was I thinking?
You picked a fight with the security police, you worked in transformation of South Africa's business community, and this was the most stupid idea. Okay, I've got you. You also had a very strong philosophy right from the very start that this is a customer experience. South Africa is not wonderful when it comes to delivering customer experience.
Right.
You go into any retail outlet, you get up to a point, and then suddenly you hit a brick wall of customer experience. You've been fastidious and pedantic in the process of ensuring that customer experience.
Yes, and I think that is actually founded in the culture of the organization. If you try and understand the situation, we're going out there and we're offering the same treatments as everyone else. So there's nothing really different. We do facials, massage, waxing, all that stuff, right? So how are we going to differentiate ourselves? The first is the look and feel, which is quite different to the traditional salon because we're more of a retail experience than most other salons. But the other thing is about the culture of the organization and the staffing. So we get people to try and understand that the purpose of work is to serve people, not to make money. That's the biggest single factor. If you can get people to understand that they are out there, they're serving people, and if they do that well, they will eventually make money. And I do all the induction training myself throughout our organization. We have about 1,200 people, and every one of those has come through my own induction training where I spend a lot of time trying to explain to them what it is that they really do. And that's about service. It's about serving people. It's about making people feel good about themselves, and that's why they come to us. They don't come for a wax. They come to feel good about themselves. And it's their role. These people have to understand that they're out there and they're touching people's lives in a positive way every single day. Sometimes they think, I'm just a nail technician. I just do one nail treatment after another. But we get them to understand that that's not the case. They're not just nail technicians. They are touching people's lives in a positive way, and therefore they're making an enormous contribution to society. So we get them to look at the work and what they do in a totally different way to what they're used to out there in the service industry.
What is the percentage uptake when you meet somebody? Do you know immediately that person's got the potential to work in this business and grow in this business? Do you reject 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10?
Yes, our franchisees actually employ them, but we have to interview them. So we won't allow a franchisee to employ any staff until they've been tested by us to make sure that they meet the standards. So that's from our point of view, we're interested in the standard side, but from the franchisee's point of view, they would then look at personality and the fit within the what we call the community that they work in.